Hey, what's up guys? Chris here, and in this video I wanted to touch on something that I was sent an email about, and I think it was actually quite relevant because it's something I could definitely relate to, at least in the past, and I know a lot of other musicians go through the same thing. Now basically what this is in regards to is feeling demotivated and comparing oneself to someone else on the same instrument or another musician who is just well up there and well above, say, where you are skill-wise. Now, the tough thing with this is I feel like it's very difficult to avoid in a sense, and that comes from just if you understand psychology, and that it's a very natural sort of occurrence that we like to compare ourselves to others. It helps us sort of gauge where we're at. The only problem is when this turns into a sense of envy or self-loathing. Now, this is obviously not productive at all when it comes to your instrument, and if you've been through this, which I know I have, it can almost just deter you from playing at all, which is not the way to go. All these top musicians and drummers, or even if it's an athlete or whatever it is, they weren't always where they were. You know, at one point, they hadn't even begun that, that journey or that domain, whatever their skill set is. So it's important to realize that everyone starts somewhere, and it's simply a gradual process, and it takes time, it takes patience. I'm always preaching that, and I mean, I know it's boring and it's kind of frustrating to just hear over and over again, but guys, I can't stress it enough. Like, patience is everything, and it's something I've definitely had to deal with and just really hammer into myself, because I know for me, at least early on, I used to be so ambitious and I wanted to get good, like quick, you know, whether it was in the gym or on the drums or in school, whatever it was. It's that need for just wanting everything like instantly, but you have to realize that it's the wrong approach, because once you sort of just hone all your focus on just achieving that big picture that you think you might want, it sort of begins to, cause like diminishing returns essentially. And again, you might start playing less, you feel less motivated, you feel uninspired. The first thing I can really recommend is that next time you're watching a video or you're listening to someone who is much better than you, don't look at it or listen to it from the angle of comparison and competition. Ignore that instinct, because I know it's a part of our human psychology, and that can be a pain in the ass, because I know it's something that we do to try and gauge where we're at, and in a way that can be helpful, but you have to turn that into a sense of inspiration and to look at what they're able to do because of how long they've been practicing for, and use that for yourself. Try and nitpick elements that you can apply in your playing, or at least be more aware of. And believe me, the more you do that and you really analyze and critique other people's playing, and I don't mean critique as in like, just tear apart what they do wrong and I don't like this and that. Take apart all these different elements of their playing or their style and see how that can be implemented into either your own mindset or into your musicality and when you're playing your instrument. So I think that's definitely the first thing, is to change that mindset of comparing yourself and competition into inspiration and a source of ideas. And again, like going to the library, you can utilize that information to make yourself better. So that's definitely the first thing. And again, the other thing is truly patience. Rather than looking at the whole kind of bigger picture of what that person is able to do and where they're at, because that's obviously super overwhelming, it's important to take it steps at a time. Realize it's a journey, so you're not going to get it all in one day, obviously, right? If you're good at anything, you know that. Because I'm sure you never got good at what you were good at in a short period of time. It's simply an accumulation of small steps over a consistent period of time. So consistency is definitely one of the keys here. just focusing on enjoying your playing and trying to be better than you were yesterday, or at least the week before. Just taking those gradual steps over time is the way to success, guys, and whether that's on your instrument or financially, doesn't matter. I just really want to hammer in that the sense of envy and self-loathing that you feel is really a toxic and poisonous sort of element of our existence, and if you can avoid that, it's truly in your best interest, because all it does is just do the opposite, and it creates a whole downward spiral. And of course there's plenty of reasons to dwell on, you know, why you can't do certain things on your instrument. If I could sit here all day and focus on the things I can't do, but rather than doing that, flip it, focus on the things that I am good at, and then the things that I am bad at, that's for me to work on. And you got to realize that when you switch your mindset, it's actually a very, very optimistic, and I think it's an optimistic idea and something that should provide a lot of enthusiasm, because then you realize how much potential there is and all the different directions that you can take, and just all these different influences, and where you can envision yourself in, say, 5-10 years. You can't focus on, you know, sort of looking at all of it in just one bubble. It's a journey, it's a process. You take it one step at a time. Don't even think about how good you want to be. Just focus on today. What are you playing today? What do you want to play today? What are you currently working on? Focus on that, and you do that, put your head down and do that for years. And I guarantee you that's when you see that that's where the progress comes from, rather than the constant comparison and sort of just wanting to shortcut your way to where these other skillful people are at. So guys, don't feel demotivated. I know what it's like. I've definitely been there, but the sooner you can flip that mindset and look at those skillful and crazy good players that you look up to as a source of inspiration as opposed to comparison, that makes all the difference, guys. And you'll see that when you're just focused on your own progress and your own playing, that's where it's really all at. So try to give that a go, guys. Until then though, Instagram, ChrisJenkins_drums, as usual, daily content. I'm talking drum covers, drum lessons, collabs, all that good stuff. I'm always posting on there. And also, if you're interested in more of me actually drumming and playing as opposed to talking, then that's definitely the place to go. Until then, if you haven't already, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.